Hey YouTube, how's it going? I'm back and I wanted to take a quick look together with you at the Mondo Kratos 6 scale deluxe God of War action figure. Now, super weird, my son just asked me if I could download this game again after my pretty much completely having forgotten about it, ordering it a year and a half ago and beating the game even prior to that. So we downloaded it, he started getting really into it. And then all of a sudden, I'm on the Sideshow Freaks forums, and somebody says this figure just came out of the blue. No email notification, no tracking number, nothing. Poof, there it was at his doorstep. So I started to get real excited. And then this morning, someone else had the same exact thing. They said, "Hey, this figure just came out of the blue," and sure enough, today around lunchtime, this figure came out of the blue with no warning into my collection, and it looks awesome. All I've done so far is take the figure out of the box itself, so you are looking at Kratos exactly as he comes out of the packaging. I have not yet done any of the accessories. I'm going to do that together with you. So in this top plastic tray, the first little piece that catches my eye that I'm going to grab here is the head of Mimir. Awesome. Maybe I can get the camera on there a little bit better. This thing looks cool. There's the gore because he's, a sentient decapitated head. Decent enough detailing in the beard in terms of the sculpt itself. The paint is a little soft in the beard. It's pretty monotone. Those eyes. Cool. This is a dope accessory from a very dope video game. Next, let's take this out here. This was a point of contention with the pre-order. I was always excited about it, but probably am not ever going to use it. But still, super cool. This is the alternate screaming sculpt for Kratos. It looks pretty good. As somebody who has a beard, I could tell you, having your mustache hairs that long to the point where they kind of start to swoop into your mouth would get very uncomfortable, but whatever. Kratos is doing his old Nordic Viking thing, so he's probably just fine. Next, we have this little enclosed shield, which is going to stick onto his arm somehow. Then we've got his knife, and it's easy to see how that is just going to slot onto his belt with that little clip there. Okay, there we go. We've got this little pouch. I forget what he carries in there. I'm just going to say money, maybe. Maybe money. Another pouch. Now, I love pouches. I love having all sorts of little details on my figures. So, those are great. This outfit, so far to my eye, is looking very true to the in-game model. We have left relaxed hand, right relaxed hand, left gripping hand, and a left gripping hand. The other one was the right gripping hand. And that's going to do it for the first tray. Now let's open up this second tray here. And we are going to get to some accessory essentials for this guy. And then we're going to set him up. I'll go through articulation and all that. So we've got our pretty standard Mondo display base. I know they usually do some sort of, their display bases kind of look like spilled ink, I guess. It's fine. They all work. The only other 6 scale Mondo I've had was their He-Man. I don't have that in my collection anymore. But it was a cool figure. Similar little display base design. Spilled ink. We've got the exclusive bonus edition axe, and this thing is hossy and cool. I'll get into the paint details in a minute when I'm done doing the unboxing. We have his beginning of the game axe, which also looks awesome. I really don't know which one I'm going to use to display yet, but that's okay because I've got time to decide. We have his two Chaos Blades, I think they're called. These are the original ones that you get in game. Great detail, I can tell you right now, right off the bat. Detailing on those looks sick. And we've got his extended shield. Okay. Looks good. Is what it is. Then we've got the exclusive edition Chaos Blades. Awesome. They're a little tiny bit bigger than these ones with a slightly different sculpt. And yeah, you can see all the runes going through there. They're fully leveled up. So cool. Those are all of Kratos' accessories. I think what's standing out to me now is how much better those Chaos Blades seem to look than all the other accessories. The paint work on Kratos, I like it quite a bit. It's crisp. The skin is detailed. His skin looks like ash, which it is. So those look good, but a lot of these accessories are coming in kind of soft. You know, that's just pretty much one solid color with a minimal amount of dry brushing. There's lots of details in that shield, which show up well in this intense lighting in the light box, but they could be brought out with just some simple dry brushing, honestly. I'm not bothered by it that much, though, but these Chaos Blades stand out as being some of the most beautifully detailed. That cracking, and there's some darker paint in there. There's like some blood on it. These Chaos Blades are by far the best looking accessories that you get with the figure. In my opinion, you might get this guy and think, this Nerdy Narwhal is crazy, but no. That's what I think. So now, alright, I'm going to get to setting him up. Oh my gosh, like I said, my son's playing the game right now, ironically enough, but I have not played it in a while, so I don't remember where all of these pouches go. I know that Mimir, he just kind of hangs off his belt somewhere. Where? I don't really know. Maybe that's what all these are for. I could look at my quarter scale Kratos to get a better idea. In fact, actually, let's look at the NECA 7-inch Kratos while we set this guy up, so I can think about where all of this stuff goes. Alright, there's that little guy. So, this pouch here is going to hang off right there. And you know, that's an interesting thing. It looks like the 7-inch Kratos has that horn hanging off the belt. That's not an accessory with Mondo. It's not that I'm really complaining too much, because we really do get a lot of stuff with this guy. But perhaps that would have been an interesting one to have included also. I do have the Kumodel Vikings. Maybe he can borrow their horn. I like this pouch. It's sculpted, but you know, that means it's just going to look good all the time. I think, you know, Mondo's interesting because they are still playing in the 6-scale high-end figure market. Whoa, those are some tight joints. Oh my gosh. But instead of doing everything cloth, they still come in there with a lot of plastic, which is really not something that I mind, as long as it still looks good. And aesthetically, having some of these pouches and bags and all that be cloth or be plastic and not cloth, they look awesome. So yeah, I'm really not bothered by it at all, even though it is a little bit different than the usual. You know, if I got a Hot Toys Kratos, if that existed, well, it'd be a whole lot more expensive. This was like $250, I think. There, got that on. That is secure in there. Well, anyways, it'd be a whole lot more expensive, but all of these would be probably cloth good also. There. Let me be tricky. There. Okay, so we've got everything on his belt. Now, I've noticed something this, there, yank that out. Hand peg comes with it, which is nice because all of these hands have their own pegs. This, there you go, that greave was on backwards, so that was bugging me. And here's something kind of cool, little detail to get up in there. He has all the scarring on his forearms, done with some pinkish going over there. They look like old, unhealed scars, which looks good. Now I saw everyone in the, there you go, in the forearms, they were getting kind of curious about how this shield was going to stick on. When the people started to get theirs in, they noticed that there was supposedly a magnet. There you go, I found it. So that's it. That shield just stays on there with a magnet. Boom. Swap it out for the little one right here. Boom. And it's just going to hang on there right like that. Cool. I like that they did the magnets. The magnets can also be quite useful for, you know, if you're posing him with the Chaos Blades, keeping that chain wrapped around him. There you go, to stick that on there like that for now. It works. There's not a magnet on the other greave, I guess, which was maybe a missed opportunity, at least as far as the Chaos Blades go, but if you really want to, it won't be too hard to just wrap those around the arm and call it good. Now I'm going to get his right gripping hand on there, because I'm definitely going to try to get a pose with him holding his axe looking awesome, just like in the video game, before I split from this video here. Let me turn this around. Another thing that I wanted to see was if he really could hold his axe on his back like he does in game. This clamp here is soft, but not too soft to where I don't think it'll be effective. Let's just see if I can wedge that. Boom. There you go. You know, you spend basically the entire game looking at his back. So I'm glad they did it right, because I've seen this view many times while playing through the game myself. That looks good here. Okay, let's go through some articulation real fast. I realized that I forgot to put this dagger on him, but oh well. We'll give it its spot in the limelight. There we go. Put it down now. So we're going to go through articulation here. This is where I'm kind of nervous because I just tried to move that arm and it was tight. The head sculpture moves up that far. Get a little side angle so he can definitely be looking up at those ogres and giants. Down, right, left. It's good. You'll see that because it's how it is, that turning right, turning left will kind of cock it a little bit. You can get a little head cock actually. It's a pretty well emotive figure. So that's all good. It looks like this is about as far in as those arms will go towards the body. Like I said, those shoulder joints are tight. That's as far out as they'll go. So really not far out. Oh, never mind. Well, look at that. So once I slide that arm under, the trap muscle sculpture here, you can get it out to about 90 degrees. But it is incredibly tight. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I want to do it with this one because I don't want to risk any sort of paint rub for that more exposed arm there. They go forward. Oh my goodness. Not easily, but they do. There we go, about that much. It's an incredibly tight figure. I'm going to definitely need to do some loosening prior to going buck wild with it. But they go forward and you'll see, get a close up here, there is some gapping in that joint. It's not flush or seamless. The body is not a soft rubbery material. It is a hard plastic. So do with that information what you will. There is torso articulation at this point here. Oh, there goes that pouch. There we go. So you don't get a whole lot of crunch. A bit more back. That's fine. Now I'm going to get to the legs. And if the shoulders were that tight, the legs have me a bit nervous. but they are fine. So not a whole lot of upwards. Good double jointed bend right there. Out. Plenty of ankle. It's on sort of how most 6-scale wrist pegs work. That's how that joint is at the ankle. So you get a ton of range of motion, and it's going to be pretty darn sturdy. I'm not worried about that loosening up. So I'll be able to get Kratos into some pretty good poses, I think. Let's try right now. As I've been watching my boy play through the God of War game, he's getting pretty good at that shield block. You know, that perfect parry with the shield that you can do. So I'm going to go for kind of something like that. He's going to be holding the axe here. It's a tight fit. Okay, there we go. So he's ready to block and return. Boom, maybe get that crouched down a little bit more. There. And that is just quickie. I have not really tried to do too much with it. You know, just right off the cusp. That's what I've got with Kratos here. Cool, cool, cool. It's a cool figure. Very functional. He'll take all the poses that I want him to. Even though those things are tight, I'm really not worried about breakage of any sort. There we go. He can get a nice deep action stance. He's not going to need to be posed vanilla, which I think is pretty important because Kratos is not really a vanilla guy at all in that game. The choreography, etc., is all done extremely well. So let's get a look like he just sort of swung, and I took him out of the display case so that I could pose him a bit easier right in front of me here. There, boom. Get that sort of right there. Other arms raised as though he's going to do a punch in case that axe swing didn't finish you off. There. A little bit deep. Get up on the toe, swing through it. There we go. Looks like he just swung that axe into the skull of an ogre or a draugr or any of the other numerous enemies that you fight throughout the game. Okay, so overall I'm going to get him back up into a vanilla pose, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on it for this review before I figure out where and how I'm going to pose him in display. So, get him standing up there, and I'm pleased to say that that's really no trouble at all. Face forward. All right. Here we go. So, this is the Mondo 6-scale God of War Kratos. After tax and shipping, I don't remember. Like I said, I pre-ordered this a long time ago, about a year and a half, but it came to about 266 bucks. You can get it a little bit cheaper, not directly through Mondo, but you're not going to get the exclusive edition. While a lot of this stuff is sculpted plastic instead of cloth, I'm totally okay with that because it looks good to the eye. And what is cloth also looks just good. So I have no issues really with how the figure looks. It is aesthetically very pleasing to me. And it's really cool to just have a badass 6-scale God of War action figure in your display. If you've played and loved what was a really deep game as much as I did, then you know this figure could be probably about half as good as it is, and you'd still buy it. So I really like a lot of the texturing that I'm seeing through the skin. It really adds to the overall effect that is, you know, ashy, pockmarked, battle scarred. The details look good, and it's sturdy. You know, that axe isn't coming off his back unless I want it to. These joints aren't going to move unless I want it to. Everything looks very good. If you are a fan of the God of War 4 or PS4 game, or God of War in general, or Kratos, or mythology, which is where most of my loyalties lie in terms of my fanness for this figure. Yeah, I can absolutely suggest or recommend adding this figure to your collection. Some things I would say to watch out for are going to be, paint rub. I think I already have some starting there by the abdomen where it rubs against the tunic. It's not really going to bother me too much. It'll come off with some magic eraser, I'm sure, but I mean, that's pretty much right out of the box. So you're going to want to look out for some of that paint rub or not. I'm kind of worried about right there in the shoulders, but I'm going to go through, take this figure outside for some pictures, I think, and see just how loose I can get those joints. So right out of the box, they are tight. Do be careful. Don't break your God of War action figure. But really, that's going to do it for me. If you have this figure on its way, or you picked it up, or like me, it just sort of arrived on your porch out of the blue, or if you're thinking about it, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get a dialogue going with you and possibly answer some questions that I might have missed in this video. So until next time, guys, thank you, and stay happy, stay healthy, and keep on collecting. Bye-bye.